Hey everyone, this is Jono. I hope you're all safe and sound wherever you may be. I'm out here in pretty much the middle of nowhere, just taking a bit of time off with the family. It's been really nice. And it got me thinking about something which I thought I'd record a quick video about. So, like many of you, I spend the vast majority of my time in front of screens, and these screens are filled with email and calendar appointments and Google Docs and Slack channels and forums and webinars and content and video and all kinds of stuff. But we don't just have that, right? I feel very fortunate to have a career and a job that I really love doing. I love every minute of it. Well, I love most of the minutes. With every job, there's times when it's a little bit less fun, but that's par for the course. But we don't just have all of that kind of information and material that we have to think about, but we also have a global pandemic going on. We have serious issues with civil rights that we need to improve on. And we have a social media culture that seems to be filled with, political division and just toxic discussion and bickering. And I think this is just a lot for us to think about. And the reason why I'm thinking about this is, when people talk about stress, right, the way a lot of people describe it is stress is like taking a glass of water and holding your arm out and holding it like this. And when you start holding your arm out like this, you don't notice the weight of it. It's no big deal. But then if you keep your arm out like that, it gets heavier and it gets heavier and it gets heavier. Before long, it's just agony. And that's kind of how stress works, is that it just kind of, it grows and it grows and it grows. And often what that can result in is burnout, or there can often be other really significant and serious issues such as depression. Now, I'm very fortunate. I've never suffered from depression, but I certainly have experienced anxiety in the past, and I've certainly experienced burnout, and it's no fun. But the reason why I'm talking about this is that when I come out to places like this, there's basically nothing around us right now. Or when we go to the ocean and spend some time there, it makes me realize that in every one of us, there's kind of a coiled spring. And when I come out to places like this, I notice the spring and I notice the tension starting to loosen. I feel something different in me. I feel like I'm just starting to relax, like my tension is kind of going down, like my brain is starting to unwind a little bit, which is awesome. But I think what worries me is that when just speaking personally, I'm in like that day to day, like I'm at work and I'm super busy during the days. I'm in calls and I've got tons of email to do and I'm working on new things. I don't notice the spring as much. It's there. I know that every little interaction that's happening is adding tension to that spring, but I don't notice it as much. And I think people who spend a lot of time on mindfulness and meditation, they absolutely do. So when I come out here, what it makes me realize is we all need to take time away, now more than ever before. And I think especially with the current political climate, especially with the nature of social media, especially with the global pandemic, we need to take time away. Now, this is different for everybody, right? Like for some of you, you may be living, for example, in a place where it's difficult to get to open space, or it might be difficult to go to spend time at the beach or whatever. But I think for the vast majority of us, we have some means of doing it, right? If you've got the ability to take a bit of time off, it may be some time at the weekends, even if it's just for an hour. So just kind of go somewhere different. And if that means wearing a mask and, hand sanitizer and everything to stay safe, absolutely do that. And it could be going to a local park. It could be going to a local open space. It could be sitting in your back garden if you've got one. It could just be going for a drive and parking up on the side of the road where there's a nice view. Or, worst case scenario, it could be just sitting in your chair for 10 minutes and performing a bit of mindfulness. And there's tons of free videos on YouTube, or there's paid services like Headspace where you can do that as well. I just think we need to take the time to do it. So that's it, really. I just wanted to kind of share it because I worry that given how tense the world is right now, that life is often impacted by the lens in which you're looking through it at. And one thing I've learned very personally, and it's different for everybody, is when you're looking through that lens and that spring is coiled and it's tight, it's a very, very different view to when that spring is much looser and more comfortable. So that's it. So, feel free to leave a comment on this video if you can't think of a way in which to do this, if you're struggling to figure out a way to kind of get away from it and to have a bit of headspace, if you will, then feel free to go and leave a comment. I'm happy to come and respond. I'm happy to help where I can. Hell, drop me an email if you want, jono@jonobacon.com. Happy to help where I can, but stay safe, folks.